Good morning, Don't Unfriend Me Nation, episode 508, I believe. We've got some bad news. Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, it's not going to happen. I know you're upset. I know you're frustrated. You were looking at the Devin Archer testimony. You're like, wow, this guy's canceled 3 times. There's got to be something big. Of course. They're dropping this information, in the back halls of the papers, through small-time evening channels where nobody's watching, the Friday dumps. This has to be huge, but alas, no. Democrats got away with it, folks. What do you want me to tell you? There's not enough evidence. There's not enough evidence to hold Hunter or Joe accountable to these made-up atrocities. We know it's fake. Come on, it's fake. It's got to be fake. It can't be real. There's no way. The Democrats said so. By the way, Matthew Spear, host of Don't Unfriend Me. I know you're frustrated. Don't get mad at me. It's not my fault. I didn't do anything. I mean, we could take a look at all the things that the Democrats wanted. I mean, they wanted a slew of evidence, right? Just even one piece of exculpatory evidence, and we couldn't find it. We don't have anything like it. I mean, they asked for paper trails, don't you remember? We want a paper trail. We want to see the statements. But all we have are bank records, and they're all digital, so we can't possibly find a way to turn those into paper. So that's not going to work. Remember when they asked for signs of impropriety through the red flag systems that really track all these transactions to see if there's anything fishy or nefarious going on, but all we have are numerous suspicious activity reports to show them. But I think those are digital as well, so that doesn't matter. I mean, we could look at the wire transfers, but it's transferred over the wire, so there's no paper there. We could look at the private bank transactions, but since it's private, I guess we can't print those out either. How about the LLCs? Well, they're dummy corporations. They're not real, so therefore they're fake, so that doesn't count. We could look at texts. No, texts are actually done on devices and phones. Emails. No. Emails don't count either. They're not on paper. Darn it. If only there was a program that allowed us to print things. Control V, Control C. No. I always thought there was a shortcut to print to my printer. But I guess not. Well, I guess we're going to have to go ahead and look at other evidence like WhatsApp. I mean, that's that encrypted application that allows you by Facebook to send private messages in between each other and talk about the big guy sitting right next to me and sending ultimatums to Chinese officials, send the money or else. But alas, those are digital. Photographs. Aha. Photos of Joe with his business partners from Burisma and Devin Archer and golfing. Yeah, but it's a photograph. Who knows how that voodoo magic works? It's been throwing tribes off in South America and the Amazon for years. I can't imagine us trying to figure out the complexities of still photography. It's incredible. But voicemails, all those voicemails, they should mean something. I mean, can't we have someone transcribe them and print them out? No, they're voicemails. Voice is digital. That's right. It's not analog. How about the 2 business partners saying Joe is the brand, the big guy, the chairman? No? I mean, as vice president, you think you would, I don't know, at least give him his honorary title of vice president. Why would you call him the brand, the big guy, the chairman, unless that pseudonym or cover name was to protect his identity? Not a very good one, by the way. If we had that on paper printed out, we probably would have something there. How about the 2 whistleblowers' testimony? I'm sure we could go ahead and take those notes and turn them into some sort of written form index to catalog all the things that they said. No, those whistleblowers? No, we don't like whistleblowers now. Oh, well, I guess it's not Colonel Vindman, so therefore they must be lying under oath. IRS and FBI agents who swore an oath to protect the Constitution and the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. I guess that doesn't include Joe Biden, since they're owned by China. What about the recorded phone calls between Biden and Poroshenko? Does that count? No, recorded phone calls. I'm sure we go back to the digital thing. Well, there is a video out of Joe Biden bragging about firing the Ukrainian prosecutor, blackmailing him for $1 billion. Does that fall within the parameters of of evidence? No. Listen, these standards that y'all set are too difficult to achieve. I'm perplexed. I don't know how we can possibly win. Certainly Hunter's statements that he's giving his dad half his income matter. No, not written down. Well, I've got a new one. How about Devin Archer? He says Burisma would have gone out of business if the brand had not been attached to it. The brand. I guess that would be Joe Biden. We have recordings of Hunter calling Washington, D.C. regarding the Ukrainian prosecutor. Does that count? Because we just found out, remember, just now. I know it's not in writing. That Joe Biden, when he was vice president, threatened that if the Ukrainian prosecutor who was investigating Burisma was not fired, that they wouldn't receive $1 billion in aid from the United States. And that they could call the other big guy, Barack Obama. I wonder if Barack Obama knew about this. Well, I'm sure he did. What about Hunter saying that he put Vice President Biden in 20 times on speakerphone in these meetings? Well, wait a second. Hold on. I know it's not in print, but certainly I have something that can negate that. Yes, we do. We have Joe Biden live. Here it is.
Mr. Vice President, how many times have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas
20
business dealings?
20.
Never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
0? Well, wait a second. I wonder how the Democrats are going to spin this. I'm sure they don't have it on paper, so that's going to be really easy. Let's listen to what's said here.
Well, I don't think that's what he said.
No, that's what he said. We just heard him. Should we play it back for the court? I mean, we can go ahead and play it back for the courtroom. I mean, I think it's important if we do, right? Let's do that.
Mr. Vice President, how many times have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
Overseas business dealings.
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
Well, I don't.
Dealings.
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
Well,
I mean, that's like clear as writing in a book or an email or a printout of an email.
I don't think that's what he said.
That's what he
said that he has never spoken to anyone.
Yeah, yes, he did. You should no, okay, all right. We've heard it enough. Fine.
He said that he had nothing to do with Hunter Biden's business dealings.
No, that's not what he said. That's the narrative that you all have changed as you send KJP up there last week to go ahead and say that for the first time in 3 years. But that doesn't mean it's the same thing. He absolutely has denied it unequivocally plenty of times.
If he says hello to someone that he sees his son with, is he supposed to say, hi, son? Oh, no, I'm not going to say hello to the other people at the table?
No, you probably would. But you know what? I've been in executive management. I've been a vice president, regional manager for multi-billion-dollar corporations. And you know what I never did? During an executive board meeting, I never all of a sudden said, excuse me, 1 second, I'm going to bring my father into the conversation. Never happened. Not once. And if I did, why would I be bringing him in? Obviously, because he had some insight or influence to the situation, and I would bring him in for that reason. So that doesn't really hold water. And neither does Joe, for that matter.
Or the other people on the phone. It's kind of a preposterous premise to think that a father should not say hello to people.
Say that 3 times real fast. Preposterous premise, preposterous premise, preposterous premise, pontificating profusely. Holy moly. This guy's a cunning linguist.
The son is at dinner with, and that is literally all the evidence is.
Literally. Literally, it's not, because I've walked you through the whole thing. Would you be surprised to know that I might have a few more? Well, then the vice president had coffee with Chinese executives tied to Hunter. We know that. And Biden was referred to as my guy by Hunter several times, bringing it all back together in one beautiful, complicated loop. But alas, there's no evidence that Joe Biden was ever involved in anything nefarious. In fact, if they had this amount of evidence, this plethora of evidence against Donald Trump, maybe they could actually get a conviction for once against Donald Trump. But remember, people saying things of, I don't remember, I don't know where I was, I went ahead and said a different story to multiple people, is good enough to get you charged with sexual assault, or at least in a civil court, but no conviction in a criminal court. And the reason why is because what's good for the goose isn't necessarily good for the gander. Joe Biden is innocent, folks. Why? Because the Democrats decree. And of course, Donald Trump is guilty as all sin and should be thrown in jail for the rest of his life on innuendo, supposition, and conjecture. Why? Well, because he's the orange Nazi orangutan and he's bad. And Joe Biden is the best president we've ever had. And that rhymed. And I'm a poet. And I didn't know it. Thanks for watching the Donut and Friendly Show. We'll be back tomorrow with another recorded show live on Wednesday night with Olivia, myself, Leroy, and Amy, hopefully, if they are available. Thanks for watching. You can stop by the DUM store at thedumshow.com, pick up a cool shirt, a hat, some coffee, all that type of stuff. Please do. Stop on by, say hello, and we appreciate it. We will go out like we always do with the Veteran Crisis Hotline. God bless, good night, and make sure to share, like, and subscribe. Thanks.
I'm David Boreanaz with the Cast of SEAL team, and we have an important message for returning vets.
We want you to know if you're struggling to cope, there's help and it's just a phone call away.
The Veterans Crisis Line is staffed with experienced professionals who know your struggles.
There's no greater sacrifice in service to our country. We're able to enjoy our freedoms because of it.
Your service is important, you are important.
For vets and their families, the Veterans Crisis Line is here to help 24 hours a day. Please call